everyone, this is Stacey Olivas for Atta Girl TV, and today we are here in Hollywood at the Get Lucky for Lupus event, where stars are weighing in on the Ray Rice scandal.
What do you think about Ray Rice? Do you think that he should be
play? It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation. It's sad for everybody. We praying for him. That's what we do.
Ray Rice is making headlines right now with the NFL. What do you think of his suspension? Do you think he should be brought back in, or do you think they should let him go?
You know, I'm not going to jump onto that dog pile. I mean, Ray Rice has his hands full, and I am by no means an expert and haven't even watched football in years. So, you know, God bless him, God bless his family. Hopefully the right thing gets done.
What do you think about the NFL culture in terms of, like, I guess, raising warriors and not necessarily giving them, I guess, the kind of support or help that they would need to be able to take off the warrior and put on their husband when they go home?
Well, you know, the thing about anyone who's facing allegations or charges right now, you're in the public eye, and it's the same thing with actors. You know, you're still a human being. You still have to adhere to the rules and the laws of society and your community. And sometimes I guess the celebrity can mask the fact that you're not above, you know, reproach.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Ray Rice scandal? Do you think he should be brought back, or do you think that he should sit out for a while?
Well, I never advocate violence, especially domestic violence. I don't think so. I think you know, law enforcement handled it wrong. I think they should have been involved. But you know, I'm just one guy talking here. It was a disturbing image when I saw it. When I finally saw it, it was very disturbing. But you know, I don't know what's going on in their household. I mean, she married the guy after it, so maybe she needs counseling. I don't know.
That's the second question. What are your thoughts on sort of the culture of the NFL and how they deal with violence against women? What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't really think it's the NFL's stance to take a stance on violence in women. I think that's law enforcement's job. The NFL is the NFL. They're there to play football. And I think it's the law enforcement that needs to really step in when it comes to domestic violence and crimes of passion. So, you know, I think it's really law enforcement's job to do that. I think the NFL is a business of sports, and that's what they need to do. But they also have an image to protect. So it is, there's a lot of different variables, but, you know, I don't know if that's their job. I think law enforcement should step in and do their job.
All right, I have to ask you about the Ray Rice scandal. What are your thoughts? Should his job be reinstated, or should he have to sit out, and why?
Well, I think that the questions are about how it was handled, the procedure and the way it was handled. I mean, listen. From the beginning, Ray has been very honest, and he said, I hit my wife. That should have been enough for red flags to go off. The fact that we needed that second video to see her his fist hitting her face, that's troubling on us, because we should have seen that first video and said, whoa, 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 whoa. He just dragged an unconscious woman out of an elevator. There's a big problem. So I think that, you know, that's on us. Should he have lost his job? Most of us would lose our jobs the first time over. So the mistake was made in giving him a 2-game suspension the first time and not, at that moment, acting appropriately.
I heard you say that in order for this discussion to be taken seriously, it needs to be led by men. Can you talk to me about why?
Yeah, it's a male problem. Men need to address it, and, you know, I think women have done a good job of pushing it out there, but, you know, you can't have the victim drive a discussion. It needs to be, and a lot of times, the oppressor. And in this case, for the most part, it's been men, and we need to address it and sit down and think about it. When we have a friend, a colleague, or anyone out there, and we say, just, dude, that's not acceptable. That's unacceptable. We have to say that to our friends and brothers and sons and other people out there who are committing these crimes.
And then finally, the Ray Rice case is making a lot of headlines with the NFL right now, and sort of a battering culture with women. I'm wondering what your thoughts are. Should the commissioner have to step down? And Ray Rice was suspended, but then, you know, they're trying to get him back onto the field. And so I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on the commissioner, and what are your thoughts on Ray Rice?
I think on this situation in general, look, I can't say. In that situation, there was a lot going on. She had a lot going on, he had a lot going on. I'm not for, obviously, men violence, but I also understand that women under the influence or whatever can get crazy. So she's not guilty, and he's not guilty, and I think they're two people to tango, and I think that it's a situation that should be sort of left alone. Look, we all have our faults. Is he, a great football player? Should he be playing? Yeah.
So he should be able to basically make a living.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, he could get a little extra help. He just, a little self-help, a little classes here and there, but he's definitely not, he wasn't in that alone.
Ray Rice is making headlines right now with the NFL and the beating scandal. What are your thoughts on the commissioner and on the sentence that they've given Ray? Because they're actually trying to get him back onto the field. What are your thoughts?
To be honest with you, I'm not the biggest sports guy. I'm becoming more a football fan. Number one, you should never raise your hand to a female. It doesn't matter what the situation is. I don't care if she's beating the living daylights out of you. You never raise a hand to a woman, period, under no circumstances. I think it's grotesque what he did. I think his suspension indefinitely is the way to go, because if you bring him back, I think you're just promoting that what he did is okay and that it can be swept under the rug. There's so many guys out there that just don't respect women, and they get away with it time and time again. And I don't agree with it. So I would hope that they would take some time to really think this through. It's unfortunate because he's a great player, and he was a real asset to the Ravens. But at the same time, you raise your hand, man, and it's just not cool. So I don't think he should go back.
Ray Rice has been making headlines right now with the NFL scandal. What are your thoughts on sort of the current culture of the NFL? And do you think that he should be able to make a living, or do you think that he should be banned for life?
Ooh, it's a really tough choice. Everyone makes mistakes. If he was a third-time repeat offender of this, then maybe yes, you should ban him for life, and he should, get help, and then find another way to make a living. But this is his first offense. I think if you show remorse and you're really sorry for what you've done and you're willing to get help and then you're willing to get involved in organizations against domestic violence, then I think he deserves a second chance. But he needs to prove himself that he's on the right path.
What do you think about the culture of the NFL right now? Do you feel like they're hard enough on domestic abuse, or do you feel like it is sort of being swept under the rug?
I think I think athletes in general have sort of been able to skirt the consequences of behavior that non-celebrities or that wouldn't be able to. So I think this is good. I think it takes a celebrity because look, domestic violence happens every day in this country, and nobody's making a big deal about it. There's a lot of women getting abused by the average citizen, and no one hears anything about it. So on the one hand, I feel badly for what's happened to the Rice family. On the other hand, we have to thank it for happening, because now it sheds a light on it, and now we're going to do something about it. We're going to get down and do something about this, because it's a pervasive problem that's been around for generations, and it's time to stop the violence.